Okay, tonight we're making pizza. I know I've showed you guys how to make pizza before, but I never actually showed you how to make the dough or how I made the sauce. I just showed you the assembly. So tonight, I thought we would try something new. I'm using the Simple Mills pizza dough, and I also used the Simple Mills flatbread because my sister invited a friend over for dinner tonight, and I didn't want to make just one pizza because it wasn't enough for everybody. And all I had in my pantry was the bread and the pizza dough. So I figured I would just try it and see what happened. And it actually looks pretty awesome. So I'm really excited to show you guys. Also, I had this, I don't know, every time I think of something new as far as recipes go, I'm kind of like lay in bed and I'm thinking about what would I like to eat, what would be good, and I kind of had a dream about this sauce, and I'm really excited to show you. I don't even know how it's going to turn out, but what I've been thinking about is kind of like a lemon, pesto-y type basil aioli. So I'm going to make an aioli and use that as the pizza, the base of the pizza. As you guys know, or most of you know, I can't eat nightshades. I have autoimmune diseases, so I don't eat nightshades, so I can't have the tomato sauce. So I have to get really creative when I'm trying to come up with the sauce for my pizza that's going to taste really yummy, be really creamy, and what I'm hoping for here is kind of like an herby, a little bit more dense than the last one I made, which was just the ghee with a little bit of garlic. So this one's going to have a couple different things, and I'll show you how I'm going to make the sauce. And I've never made it before. I have no idea what I'm doing with it, and just kind of hoping that the flavors come together and work really well. So I've got a pizza dough already cooked, but I'm going to walk you through how I make the pizza dough. Then I'm going to dress one of the pizzas and show you how that all works too. And I just did a bunch of stuff today. Everything that I had in my fridge that I thought would be good on a pizza. I asked my sister, asked John, what should I put on this pizza? Like, just tell me what, and I'll put everything on there. So, first of all, I got to make the pizza dough. I have tried this recipe doing it the way they say, like mix everything first and then marry the ingredients. I am not a baker. I do not care to follow baking directions. And I tried the dough without doing it the way they said, without mixing all of the wet ingredients first and then the dry ingredients, and it just so happens that it works out just fine. So that's what I'm doing. So the pizza dough calls for the packet, obviously, 2 eggs, and then some olive oil and some apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to add that in. So I've got my dough in the mixer, or my powder, whatever, flour. 2 eggs. And I get my eggs, remember I get my eggs from Harvest to You, that box that I get. I love that box. And they send me my eggs, so excited to get to use those tonight in this pizza dough recipe. Okay, the next thing is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm just using just regular old olive oil. For the aioli, I actually have a basil olive oil that my sister got from Old Town, the Old Town Olive Oil Company. So that's what I'm going to use for that one tonight, but I just had a little bit left in that, so I wanted to finish that up for the dough today. Okay, and in the spirit of finishing things up, my apple cider vinegar is almost out as well, so 2 tablespoons of that. It's got like a tablespoon left. I'm definitely putting it in the fridge for later. Okay, and then 6 tablespoons of water. So I've got a measuring cup here that I filled with water so that I could easily pour my 6 tablespoons of water in. Can't multitask and pour at the same time. I have to count my teaspoons here, tablespoons. Okay, so all of that going in, it takes about 20 seconds to mix all this up together. What I found is that the flatbread is a little bit more wet as far as the dough goes than the pizza dough, but they're both pretty much like just dough, and I'll show you it. And when I first did it, I thought like I was going to get a pizza dough, and you really don't. You have to bake it to get that doughy consistency. Okay, and I also use a lined cookie sheet. The directions say to split this batter up into 2 pieces and use half on one and half on another to make 2 8-inch crusts, and who has time for that? Make a perfect circle pizza dough. Like, yeah, right. So I just make kind of whatever shape it decides to make for itself. So I've got a big cookie sheet here, and it's lined with parchment paper, unbleached parchment paper, but it's still non-stick, so that helps. And when I pull the pizza out of the oven, I just pull the whole parchment paper off leave the pizza on it, and then cut it with the pizza cutter, and it's done. And I don't have to clean anything or wash any more dishes, and it's so nice and easy. Okay, so check this out. It's really dough. It's kind of almost like cake batter, but it's got a little bit of airiness to it from the apple cider vinegar. It's getting some little bubbles in there. So what I do is I just pour it out on the cookie sheet, get all the last little bit out of there. Trust me, you'll want every ounce of this so you can eat it or not share it, or not have, or share at least some of it. I don't know. Anyways, so pizza dough on the cookie sheet, and I just kind of spread it out as much as I can to get as thin of a dough as I can. And like I said, this is about enough to feed, this box feeds 3 people. I make a big salad to go with it. And because I was having one extra person, I didn't feel like stretching this pizza dough to feed 4 people. So that's why I did the second one. And now everybody's going to have more, and it's a win-win-win all around. Okay, so pizza dough spreading out on the cookie sheet. And last time what I showed you guys was a cooked dough already, and I didn't show you kind of the process before. So I wanted to show you this, and then I wanted to make that sauce with you because I don't have any idea how it's going to turn out. You know, might as well try something brand new on live Facebook, right? I have always, you know, heard good things from that. What could possibly go wrong? Just ruin like 2 whole pizzas. No big deal. Okay, pizza dough on the tray. Here we go. This is going in the oven, 350 degrees. It takes about 10 minutes for this to set up enough that you can put ingredients on top of it and it not get like wet and soggy and icky. So this is going in the oven. Middle rack. Okay, this is my done dough. You guys ever think like when you're watching cooking shows and they like pull that magic one out of the oven? I always wanted to be like that. So here's my magic dough already ready. That's the flatbread, not the pizza dough. I don't know if you guys saw last week, on Sunday, I was seriously craving cinnamon rolls, and all I wanted was some darn cinnamon rolls. So I went and I picked up this, and the reason I thought this would work is because the ingredients in it have no flavor. So it's almond flour, arrowroot, flax meal, tapioca, sea salt, and baking soda, which is basically like a bread dough or like a pancake dough. So it could really versatile, even though it shows on the front really savory. I figured if I added some sweet things to it, that it could turn it sweet. So I just added a little bit of cinnamon, almond extract, vanilla bean powder to the dough itself, and then I made a little cinnamon streusel that went on top of it, and that had coconut sugar and maple syrup and coconut oil and a little bit more cinnamon, and that just got mixed into it. And then I made that cinnamon kind of like a loaf, almost like a coffee cake kind of thing. So that was really, really yummy. And now I just keep that in my pantry, a box of that artisan bread, in case I decide I want, I don't know, more cinnamon rolls anytime. It was a really good midnight snack. Okay, next thing I'm going to do while that pizza's going is I'm going to make our sauce. And then I'm going to saute some onions and some mushrooms and things like that to assemble everything. But let me get this going. I wanted to use my Vitamix for this one because, why not? It's so much easier if you can just throw all the ingredients in a blender instead of having to chop it all up. Okay, this Vitamix is so amazing because it's already like wound up. But in order to plug it in on this side of my kitchen, I need to unwind it. So here we go. Okay, Vitamix. Excuse me while I plug this in. And I'm back. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. I'm not sure how it's going to taste, but I have made a lot of aiolis before, and I'll put them on top of tacos or on salads as a salad dressing. So I'm kind of playing off of that and hoping I can turn this into a sauce, and just we'll see what happens. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got some avocado mayonnaise. You got to start with the mayonnaise for the aioli base, and I'm going to thin this out using a couple different things. So I've got garlic, which I chopped, even though you don't really need to chop it if you're using a blender, but tons of garlic. It needs a lot of garlic. We're going for a specific flavor profile here. Garlic. Okay, we got the garlic, and then I have this really awesome olive oil that has, it's infused with basil. So basil olive oil going in. that's also going to have some fresh basil too, to get that green, get the thickness that we were looking for. And then some fresh squeezed lemon juice. I'm not going to use all of this, but about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice to give it that really lemony, sharp flavor with the garlic and the basil, but everything will really stand out on its own, I believe. We'll see what happens. All right, then I got some really yummy fresh basil from the store today. Oh my gosh, so good. Okay, the Vitamix will chop all this up for me. I don't have to do any of that, but I am going to take the sharp stems off a little bit more. I might throw some fresh basil on top of the pizza just so you know what's in there. I do like to kind of showcase, like, oh, there's basil in the sauce, so let me show you the basil. Okay. Now, again, we'll see what happens. Bear with me. Here we go. Okay, I do want to leave it kind of chunky because I do want you to be able to see what's in there. Oh my God, you guys, it smells so phenomenal. Okay, little salt and pepper. Got the garlic in there already. Got the olive oil, nice thinned out sauce. It kind of looks like almost like a salad dressing type consistency. Add a good amount of salt. What could possibly go wrong, live? Ooh, oh my delicious salt. That's what could go wrong. There we go. No worries. Okay, so I'm gonna blend this up just a little bit more and see what happens. Okay, cool. That's mixed enough. I don't want it to be so mixed because I don't really want it to get thick again. I want it to stay kind of thin so I can pour it over my pizza. But check this out, you guys. Like, oh man, that's not where you are. Here you are. Okay, so really beautiful, beautiful color. Really nice and like thinned out. It's going to be a really great, kind of almost like an Alfredo type sauce, but obviously no cheese. So we've got the lemon, the mayonnaise, the salt, pepper, basil, a little bit of lemon juice, and I'll put some fresh basil on top of it as well for the pizza. So, you know, we'll see what happens. All right, let me move this out of the way. Okay, the next thing I want to do and show you is I'm going to add some caramelized onions to the top of the pizza. While that pizza's cooking, I'm going to caramelize these onions. So I'll just move this over here and get these onions going. I'm also going to put mushrooms on top of the pizza. So I'll saute the mushrooms. The mushrooms will only take about 30-40 seconds to really get enough juice on them that they're good for to put on top of the pizza. Okay, so the trick to getting caramelized onions and not burnt onions is to cook them low and really slow and ease them into it. Don't go so fast because then you're going to get burnt onions, and nobody wants burnt onions. We want those really soft, caramely, delicious looking onions. I'm going to add a little bit of fat to the pan. The onions will sweat down quite a bit and create their own moisture, but it's good to add a little bit to it. This ghee does not want to open up for me, so it might get, let's see. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, this is the ghee from Trader Joe's. I was out of my own ghee. I was out from the ghee that I usually buy at Artisan's Palette, and so I just picked this up today. Kind of like an inexpensive substitute when you can't make your own. Okay, so a little bit of ghee. Woo. And a little bit more salt on the onions to help that process, help them sweat down a little bit. So those are going to take a little while to cook down. And in the meantime, I'll show you what else I'm putting on the pizza. So what I've got, I sauteed up some bacon. I'm actually going to make a little bit more bacon. This is not enough. We've been munching on it ever since I picked it up. Some chicken breasts that I cooked in the bacon fat. And then this is just a little bit of sauteed spinach. And then we'll have the onions and the mushrooms going on as well. And then a little tiny bit of goat cheese. I have just a little bit left, so that just a little bit on one of the pizzas. And then the sauce. So as those onions are cooking, I'm going to show you how I assemble this pizza that I have here. My magic pizza that just came out of the oven magically, even though I prepped it ahead of time. Okay, cool. So let's see how this sauce turns out. Give it a quick mix. Okay, so it smells amazing. So I know we're on the right track here, even if I have to make some adjustments to it later. I'm not too worried that my guests are going to be mad about this pizza sauce. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and lightly cover the pizza in the sauce. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. You really can't go wrong with these flavors. Even though I've never made it before, you really can't go wrong. Because this isn't a traditional pizza by any means, I'm not going to leave a whole lot of crust. I'm going to cover the whole thing in this delicious sauce. It's really beautiful. The basil, the smells, the aromas coming right up. Oh my goodness. It was that basil olive oil that really does it, I think. The fresh basil, the fresh lemon from my neighbor's tree. I don't even know if she knows we took it. Thanks, Sarah, for the lemon. All right. Now, I can assemble all the other parts. All right, so got the sauce. The other pizza's cooking, so I'll assemble that one when it comes out. I'm going to add a little bit of the sauteed spinach. The reason why I cooked this a little bit ahead of time is because spinach tends to get really wet when you cook it, and I didn't want my pizza to get soggy. So I cooked it a little bit in advance to get some of that, cook some of the moisture out. Okay, so a little bit of spinach, a little bit of bacon. Oh my gosh, I've been so bacon deprived. The Naughty Pig butcher shop that I go to, they've been out of my bacon, so I just haven't been buying any bacon, and now I have been missing it, and we finally have it back, and I just want to eat it all day long. Okay, and then I'm going to load this up with chicken. Yum. Like, I just don't know how you can go wrong with this. I mean, really. The flavors, everything is just incredible. Lexi, it is so yummy. It does sound yummy, and it smells really yummy. So like, hello, can't go wrong. Friday night pizza, I love it. Okay, my onions are starting to sweat a little bit. I'm going to move them around. They can start to separate. I want these to be really sweet. When you caramelize the onions, they get sweet, and that's what I'm going for here. I've got all this savory. I've got the garlic and the lemon and all the savory things, the bacon. So putting that sweet onions on top of it is really going to balance everything out. Okay, while those are cooking, I'm going to grab my little pan here and do my mushrooms. Actually, a little bit bigger pan here. Bigger pan, mushrooms. I didn't realize I had so many mushrooms. When you're cooking mushrooms, you don't want them to be too close together, because when they start to sweat out, you end up getting really soggy mushrooms rather than sauteed mushrooms. And I want that sauteed type of taste. So I'll put those on. Same thing. Mushrooms are like little sponges. So anything that you put on them, they're going to absorb up. So just a little bit of ghee, a little bit of fat. Everybody needs that fat in their diet, and I can try to get it any way that I can. So I just kind of add it to everything I do. All right, a little bit of salt for the mushrooms. I like to season everything as I go, so every layer has a layer of flavor to it. All right, onions sweating, mushrooms sauteing. Those are good. And my pizza crust is cooking. So the next thing to do here is just finish putting all those other things on top. I'm going to put a little bit of goat cheese on this one. I let this get a little bit soft. It's been sitting out for a little while. And I like it that way because then it helps me to kind of pull apart some bigger pieces. And I just put this on and lay it out. What happens is goat cheese won't spread anywhere. It won't go, like it won't get any bigger. So I try to make it into smaller pieces and anywhere that you would take a bite. So when you're getting a bite of food, you're getting a little bit of everything and a little bit of this goat cheese. I'm not going to put it on the other pizza because not everybody can eat the goat cheese. So just a little bit on one of the pizzas and the other pizza won't have any. So sorry, no goat cheese for you. Oh my gosh. It's hard not to like eat all the pieces separately. I gotta wait and put it all together. I know it'll taste better if I can just be patient. Got a towel here. Okay, so that's all I'm doing tonight. I've got a big salad that's coming out that I put in the fridge. So that just had carrots and celery, onions, beets. I had a ton of beets. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out what to do with all my beets. Beets in the salad, and everything is pretty much good to go. So I've got my pizza crust going. That's got about 5 more minutes. When that comes out, I'm going to do exactly the same thing to it. Got my onions going. The sauce had plenty of garlic, so I don't need any more garlic on my pizza. I know, gasp, everybody needs more garlic. I should have put more. But that'll be plenty. It also has garlic in the dough. We mixed that in with the dough, so it's going to be really, really, really bursting with flavor. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to tell you guys. Pizza night is my favorite night. Buy yourself these Simple Mills pizza crust and make it really, really easy for yourself. It takes, all of 20 seconds to mix together the dough and then cook it and throw some of your favorite things on it. And of course, this isn't traditional pizza. It doesn't have any red sauce or cheese on it, but it gives someone like me with celiac disease some hope that I can actually have a fun treat at night on Fridays. So these are going to go in the oven. When they're both done, I'll put them in the oven so they come out at the same time for about 10 minutes. Everything is already cooked, so it's just about giving that time to marry. And then it's pizza time. All right, these are cooking, but they're starting to cook a little too quick, so I'm going to turn down the heat on that. Mushrooms are going. All right, you guys. I hope you have a great Friday night. Thank you so much for watching and joining me for Friday Night Live with Sharissa and cooking pizza tonight. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, tag, subscribe, follow, share, do all of those things. And I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a really great night, and I'll see you soon.